just circling back to the review from last night, I will say this. I thought the broadcast did a great job. I thought anybody involved with putting the ballpark together did a great job. I thought the ceremony was very well done. I thought the acknowledgments, very, very well done. Obviously, Willie's passing 48 hours before this game is just like overwhelmingly emotional. And so his imprint was all over this entire week in so many profound ways. And so I really think everybody came out of this with a good feeling about the actual product and the event. What we were talking about a few minutes ago is, for me, I wanted to allow this to be an acknowledgement of the right things. So, and we've had conversations about so many things this week, but it's for me now less about, baseball is doing the right thing, or this is a unique event, or even like we talked about yesterday, baseball's reaching out to the young black player to see if they can, whatever. I wanted this, and Reggie Jackson helped us at least help me get there. Make sure we're acknowledging the right thing. And this is not a victory lap for Birmingham, Alabama. This is an acknowledgement that is way too late, but better late than never, for a bunch of people who worked their butts off and were put through untold hell in order to simply play baseball and be humans and show us their incredible gifts. And I want this acknowledgement to really, for me, be just about them, be just about those people who had to do that and wish they didn't.
Yeah, and I think that Major League Baseball struck the right tone, and the Fox broadcast did as well, but Reggie Jackson was the one who took all of the pomp and the circumstance and in 2.5 minutes put it right on everyone's plate and made it clear what it was about for him, somebody who went through it. And that's where I think, yes, it was about Willie and what an amazing player, what an amazing human being, and all the other Negro League players who went through it. Yes, we celebrate them and the journey, and it sucks that they had to go through it, and they are all great players, but what Reggie did made all of that come center stage into what exactly was going on.
Some of you are on hold and want to go right to you, but we also want to acknowledge those who maybe just turned the radio on within the last 15 minutes and are like, what did Reggie say? If you haven't heard it yet. So Alex Rodriguez on the pregame panel last night asked Reggie, who played for the Birmingham A's, and asked him what it meant to be back here in this city, in this building, and here's what Reggie said.
Coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke, and they said, you think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord? I said, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, the can't eat here. I would go to a hotel and they say, the can't stay here. We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner, and they pointed me out with the N-word. He can't come in here. Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, we're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted. Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in a place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. The year I came here, Bull Connor was the sheriff the year before. And they took minor league baseball out of here because in 1963, the Klan murdered 4 black girls, children, in 11, 12, 14 years old at a church here and never got indicted. It was they were from the Klan. Life magazine did a story on them, like they were being honored. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. At the same time, had it not been for my white friends, had it not been for a white manager, and Rudy, Fingers, and Duncan, and Lee Myers, I would have never made it. I was too physically violent. I was ready to physically fight some. I'd have got killed here because I'd have beat someone's ass, and you'd have saw me in an oak tree somewhere.
I mean, obviously, there are pieces that are very, very difficult to listen to, but I think that's the point. Everybody needed to hear that. I just appreciate the hell out of Reggie Jackson for doing that, for taking it there, for having the courage to say what he said on national TV. Let's talk to you, one of our good friends, Grandpa Daddy in Hayward. Hey, GPD, what are you doing?
Wow, man. I just want to tell you guys, man, that you're doing exactly what you should do. You say you don't know what you're doing, Willard. Dibs, you're doing it. You're recognizing it, and you're giving it its due, bro. I mean, I was born in 1961. Even though I went to places that didn't stop me from eating, I still, when I was a kid, couldn't wonder why. Hey, Mommy, why can't we eat here? I was too young to know. And as I grew up like people hate me for the color of my skin. And it's, for all you white folks that helped us, I mean, that's the thing, man. There's good white people, man. Like us blacks, we wouldn't be able to go through the civil rights movement without those righteous white people that helped us, bro. I'm telling you, like, people don't give white folks their due, those that deserve it. Like Raleigh Fingers, like he was saying, there was a lot of racism, but there was those good white folks, man, that knew what was right and knew what was wrong. I want to thank you two for giving this its righteous spot and just saying what you feel, because you can never feel the skin that I'm in. So what do? All you can do is just sit back, acknowledge it, and give it its due. Yeah, you don't want to celebrate that time, but now you celebrate the people that went through it. And I want to thank you personally. This is what I loved about when I met you guys at the first summer, man. I was like, between, this is a black thing, I was like, man, them white boys, they cool. And I freaking love you guys, man. I could just feel it, man. The way you guys embraced me and I thank you for being one of the righteous white folks that know it was wrong, and you're acknowledging it, and you're doing it right now by airing everything, what Reggie Jackson said. I mean, that's real talk, bro. You really don't know how terrible it is to walk in some. I mean, even to this day, sometimes I walk in the store. I can't remember. I'll never forget. I was in Orange County driving a brand new BMW. I had topsiders on, polo shirt, and shorts, and I'm in a Raleigh's grocery store in Orange County. And then all of a sudden, somebody was following me.
Yep.
I'm like, and then I went down the aisle and I made a quick right turn and another right turn, and I stopped to turn around, and the dude came around real quick and then almost bumped into me. I'm like, bro, you following me? Oh, no. And then I realized, I looked around. I didn't even realize it. I was the only black person in the store, bro. I mean, like hundreds of people. This is like Orange County proper, right? Down in, what was it, Mission Viejo or something like that. Yeah, I mean, like, I was the only black person in the store, bro. And then I realized, wow, y'all still tripping? I mean, like, I was dressed like a white boy, but I was black, right?
Topsiders.
You had the Orange County uniform on. You had the OC uni on, GPD.
Bro, I couldn't believe it. And then I was driving a brand new BMW. I came out the store. I'm walking with my car to my car. And then this older white lady was putting her groceries in the back of her car. And she didn't see me. And then when I got close to her, she turned and saw me and grabbed her purse. And then I was like, hello, how you doing today? And she looked, and then I got in the car right next to her, brand new BMW, and I could just see her just like, oh, it's okay. He must be one of us. He got money.
Must be.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, GPD, thank you.
GPD.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call.
Man.
Thank you for the words as always. Yeah, we love having you along for our ride. And look, sometimes I know it falls flat because it's the same reminders that we get all the time through our lives. And you know what I mean? It's like you remind yourself and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this different, or I'm gonna do that different. And it lasts for a day or a week or a month or whatever. It's just like New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna lose 20 pounds by January 8th. You're like, I lost my gym membership card. I can't even find it.
Totally.
And that's the end of that. So like, I don't want to sit here on some sort of a high horse and try to tell people. This is just how it hit me. Is these thoughts were already bouncing in my head, and I didn't know how to express them the right way until Reggie did that, which is that this can be a good and a bad thing almost at the same time, which is like Reggie did. Go there.
Yeah.
Go there and talk about it and acknowledge this and celebrate it. But that's my only sort of clarity. Know what you're celebrating. I choose to celebrate those people who had to do this in a way that they shouldn't have had to do it. And the other thing with what GPD just mentioned, and look, I wasn't alive in the 60s, so sometimes you look back on a different time in life. I think no matter when you were born, you look back on a time when you weren't alive, and you go, okay, can we really hold it against those people? I don't know what life was like back then. Was it lack of education? Is it geography? Did they just not know any better? Raleigh Fingers comes on with Steiny and Goo, and that helps me when you talk about someone like Bull Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Who, if you read about him.
I've been doing it all day, Mark, and this is one of the most vile human beings that's ever walked the earth.
And so before you go, oh, that was the 60s and it was Birmingham, Alabama, and he didn't know any better. Well, no, because there's plenty of people who did. And that, to me, should shape, for me, it shapes how I view those who walked before us.
For sure.
Because there were plenty of people who were fully aware about just something as simple as how you treat other human beings.
Yeah. And I'm reading through some of the history of Bull Connor, and on a day in 1963, he arrested 959 children ages 6 to 18 because they attempted to march to the Birmingham City Hall. That's all.
Yep.
1,000 kids marching, you're all arrested, and they all were black children. And of course, the bombing that he authored as a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And the thing that I constantly want to remind myself of is, unfortunately, there are still Bull Connors walking among us today. And so many of the things that, Reggie Jackson had to deal with in the 60s, and the people who came before Reggie Jackson and all the other athletes and all the rest of it, these problems are still existing today. So, what Grandpa Daddy just said is something that I take to heart. It's like, there's nothing that you and I could ever possibly do in our lives to understand what black people, Grandpa Daddy, and all the rest go through. There's no way we can ever possibly know. But what can we do? We can listen, and we can learn, and we can do all we can to try to, ward out the evil that is still, unfortunately, a part of our society.
Well, I tell you what, something that stands out to me that I think will help a lot of people. That's why I share it. This is a story that came from the show that I do on Sunday nights with Ephraim from just a few months back. A few months back, I was having a conversation with him, and I was just sharing. Do you remember when the Lakers eliminated the Warriors? Game 6,
right,
a little bit over a year ago. I had a story from that night. I ended up missing about a quarter of the game because my dog jumped through our window. She saw something outside. She jumped through our window, and she took off. And took off.
The window was open, right?
The window was open.
Okay.
If you remember that day, it was incredibly hot. It was a very, very hot day. So we had a window that's kind of like very low, open. and she saw something outside. I don't know if she saw an animal, whatever, and she stuck her head out, and I thought she was just getting a little breath. And nope, gone. And I mean gone. She's now got an air tag on her because of moments like these. I won't let it happen again. But like the third quarter, for me, gone, because we were running around in the streets looking for my dog. And we live in an area it's not symmetrical. There's a lot of wooded areas. This person's backyard, and the dog is just running all over the place. And I'm telling you from this story, and I'm just like jovial laughing because we found her and everything's fine. But jovial laughing about, you should have seen me. I was walking up through the woods and found myself in this person's driveway, and now I'm over in that backyard.
Right.
And I'm like, and I said something about, can you relate to this? And he goes, brother, are you kidding me? You think as a black man that I have the courage to just walk into somebody else's front yard?
Wow.
Do you know what can happen to me legally now if I just walk? Like, do I need to tell you these stories? And I mean, it stopped me in my tracks, and I was just like, brother,
wow,
you're stopped.
Yeah.
You're like, that didn't even cross my mind.
Right.
And he's like, of course it doesn't cross your mind, because that's our privilege. So anybody out there and I know there's this out there. We have a text right now sitting right here in front of me on my computer screen saying, well, there's reverse racism everywhere. Every single race right now is experiencing this. You don't know. I like, whoever you are, you may feel attacked. Like, that's just part of life. And it's part of the way that maybe everybody's brains work. But if you think that even if there's something on TV that makes you feel, oh, they took a statue down and I feel attacked, we're talking about, to me, and this is what Reggie Jackson was talking about, the basics of just being able to function.
Right.
Just to walk out your front door.
Have a meal. Have a place to stay.
And be safe. And I don't mean attacked like, I don't like what he said. No, like attacked like killed.
Right.
That's what Reggie's talking about. That's the stuff that was happening in Birmingham. That's the stuff. That's who I want to celebrate, is the people who had to deal with that. And no white person has ever had to deal with that anywhere.
Exactly.
Ever.
No.
Period.
End of sentence. And that's where, and you talk a lot about your privilege and my privilege, and it's something that I want to constantly be aware of, not only day to day, but in terms of like how many things that, if I get mad about something or something that's frustrating, it's like, dial it back and think about like the story you just told about trying to find your dog. And I'm sure you're walking through people's side gate and you're hopping fences and you're just free willing.
Y'all seen my dog?
Dude, seriously. I'm in your backyard, you know?
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I just popped around a corner. I'm like, whoops, I'm in this person's front yard.
Yeah.
Like,
not even a second thought about it.
No, I'm like, I wonder if they've seen my dog.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared that. Because that, I think, puts our privilege in a perfect box as far as like, because I would have done the exact same thing. Right. Without even thinking.
Don't even think about it. So, and just to bring it back to Rickwood, that's what Reggie really helped. Not that wasn't already on my mind, but I just feel like he did a great job, a courageous job of crystallizing what was actually being celebrated yesterday. I do think a lot of us were just like, this is cool. What a cool event. And it was. But if you just go deeper for a second, I felt that it was really important that we figured out, what is this commemorating? We're not celebrating just Rickwood Field. We're not celebrating just Birmingham, Alabama. We're celebrating people. We're celebrating people who, they should have been celebrated a long time ago. They should have been celebrated when they were playing. And for some of them, unfortunately, it's taken till now. Some of them, most of them, didn't make it to today. Right. Some of them were in a wheelchair down the first base line last night. Some of them were still able to walk in. That's what last night was about. For me. No, and I think you put it perfectly.